of wellness, Angela. Hey, and here we are, Monday Night Live back. Angela's, you have to forgive Angela because she's not been well. So if she coughs and then turns her mic off, you know why. So welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live with myself, Paul and Jenny from Host for Ghosts, Angela from South Coast Ghost, one of our lead investigators, Dora, and investigator Luke are there on the right. So if you have any comments or you want to join us on here one night, on a Monday night, get in touch with us and please come through and, you know, promote your team, tell us about your investigations, etc., the places you've been and all of that. So please contact us and come on here. We'd love to have you on here and listen about your group and how you started. That's the dog. That's not me. Poppy. So, sorry about this. Poppy. So tonight we're at, Saturday night, we're at Fort Brockhurst, one of our go-to events for the English Heritage, another charity night for them. And we raised a great deal of money on the Saturday night and thoroughly had a good time. Good guests, a good investigation, albeit a little bit quieter than it was the first time around. But we had some evidence that we can't work out what it was or what we'd seen. So we're looking at that, and we'll show you some pictures and bits and pieces tonight that we took. Obviously, myself and Dora were hosting as Angela was unwell. So myself and Dora hosted, so I didn't get a lot of pictures. I did a couple of EVPs and got what I think is a child laughing, but I need to listen back to it better because it could be just something in the background. I'm really not sure. So we were back there Saturday night, 8 till 1 a.m. What's up, Jen? Jen? What? What's up? All right. It's all going on here tonight, isn't it? So
I've just seen a gnat and I'm about to get it with the thing.
You're about to exterminate a gnat. Yeah. So if I get hit on the head with a tennis racket, you'll understand why. And she ain't no John McEnroe either when she's swinging. Anyway, back to the fort. So we had a complete sellout, which was brilliant. We loved that. A good sellout, good crowd, 25 people. So they raised a good amount for the fort, which they'll be totally grateful for. You know, every little bit helps. So it was a good sellout. We had good guests, some first timers, some had done it before, some had never done it, some had done it but not for a long time. So it was a bit of a mix of people we had, myself and Dora, to host around. So at the beginning we thought while there was daylights, we'd take people out onto the ramparts at the top of the fort just to have a look around. So we had some pictures I sent Angela earlier. So this is the top. Obviously the railings to the right is where the courtyard are down there. And this rampart goes all the way around the fort. And right completely sort of the other side of there is a hole in the ground. It's sort of right at the very end. You can see it in that one. It's right at the very, very end. There's a hole. The wall's still there, but the mud and the dirt and the shelters have gone. Is it in that one? No, it's to the left. So you can see the front part of the fort to the right-hand side. That's what the fort looks like. The one in the middle is the officers' mess. Is the officers' mess in the left there with the light on. So that was that. So there's a massive courtyard. So it would have housed up to 1,500 men any one time. And these are the top. These would be the gun emplacements here, as you see on the left. You can walk all the way around there on an open day. They open all of these up so you can wander around and have a look and how the guns were placed and where they were going. And the guide, his name is Tristan from the English Heritage, was telling us about on the ground, there's metal sliders where they would roll the gun around to change the aim. And there was 2 plates that are put on the rails either side. So they would know, they would call them go and no-go areas. So the go area would be where they could fire out to see. You can see us all there. To the left of the woman in the red jacket is one of them, is where the gun emplacement would have been. So you can just see below, just by her waist, is a rail. And in that rail, they had go and no-go areas. So the go area would be where they could fire the gun. The no-go would be where they turned the gun, and if they fired from that area, they would hit the next fort. So they had to know where the gun had to be aimed. Between them, they wouldn't actually be shooting at the next fort. So, which was interesting, because you see these things on the floor, but you didn't know what they are, so explain that. So after that, we headed in to the fort, because they didn't want us to be up there after dark. So we headed down back into the fort, and then started investigation there. Hang on, there's a bit of a feedback.
You want me to come off the computer?
No, I don't think so from there. So we headed in, and then we split into 2 groups. One group went to the prison cells and the corridors there, and the big room with the wooden floor and accommodation room, I think it was called. And the other group, my group, we went down to the artillery room, which was where what we called the cannon room. So we started off in there. At first, we had a few lights inside. We kept seeing this light appear inside and disappear. And the more we looked at it, the more we couldn't work out. And eventually we worked out, as the cars drive, because they got the road closed, it goes past the fort, people are driving the opposite way around. And so the headlights were shining through the fort. So we sort of debunked it, because you could actually see the lights move. Do you remember, Luke?
Yeah.
Zooming along the screen. So eventually we got to that and found, well, right, that's got to be cars. That's, debunk that straight away. So we knew that any light that moved along the wall was a a car from outside. So we stood down right down the end of one end, right down by the room, and I put a sensor in the room at the end with a bell in there, as you can see them on the floor there. So that room where you're looking in from the artillery room where all the cannons are, and it goes round in a big circle. So through that door, and you come back out to where you started. So we had a sensor there, a motion sensor and a bell we placed there. The bell never went off, but the motion sensor went off a few times when we were calling out. Now we thought we heard a few things within that but wasn't really sure what we were listening to, because they changed the road layout. You could hear cars going past and motorbikes, and so the noise, the EVPs were difficult to get. So we were there, 35, 40 minutes, little taps and knocks and just different things, but nothing to write home about. Then suddenly we lost sight of the doorway, because it was so dark, the doorway had actually disappeared. So, and it become darker and darker and darker. And then we're all saying, how dark has it got in here? And it got really, really dark. And then the sensor went off in the room behind us. And one of the ladies, one of Jen's friends, is a medium. And she said, I could see a man standing in the doorway. And she could see a shadow of a man standing in the doorway. But it set the sensor off, so something triggered it. And as we looked the opposite way, there was like 2 lights up on the wall, like on one of the pillars. And in them lights was a blooming shadow looking at us. Do you remember that, Luke?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
And it literally was moving within the lights, wasn't it, Jen?
Well, I thought Stephen King had gone down there, and it wasn't.
We shone a light down it to see if there was anybody standing there. You know how you sort of spread out a little bit. Nobody was there. There was no windows in that particular part, but there was these 2 bright white lights up on the wall And do you know what it's like?
Did it, those lights?
No,
Not like the headlights.
no, not like the headlights. So they didn't move along the wall. They say, do you know what? It was like you opening a door and the light from inside the doorway was shining out. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And in that light was this massive shadow. It's like head and shoulders. And it literally was going,
Oh.
and then go back again. And then it was, because everybody, I saw it and thought, what is that? And I didn't say anything. I thought, maybe it's just me seeing this. And then somebody else, one of the guests went, what's that in that light? What's moving down there? And then Jen said, there's something in the light. And then 2 or 3 other people commented, did you see it, Luke?
Shadow. It was like a shadow
I did
figure,
see.
wasn't it?
Did you see it, Luke?
Yeah, and there was another one at the end of the corridor where someone's walking up and down.
Yeah. So it was not only on the wall, but it was actually walking from right to left across the cannon room. Because we were so fixated on this light, and it literally was like somebody had opened the door and you could see the light shining through, and they were blocking a bit of the light out. And it literally was like going like that. Like it would move back, it would go forward again. It got bigger inside the light and then went small. And then, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds after that, somebody said, what is that down there? And I saw, I can only describe, was like, you know, the Three Musketeers, the big long boots with the flappy tops on them. 2 of the boots literally walking across the room and disappeared in the wall. And I'm like, I didn't say anything. I thought, what? And then one of the other guests said, what was them boots walking? So I wasn't the only one that saw it. She saw it as well. She went, there's some boots walking across from right to left. Like Luke said, I didn't see like the apparition like the body, but I saw the boots. But some people said they saw like a shadow going across. Did you see the shadow, Luke, or was it just, what did you see?
It's like someone walking back and forward, blocking the light up.
It was the strangest thing I'd ever seen, really, because we'd all looking at so fixated on this light, like someone was looking in and out of a doorway, and then you just see these. I could like I say, describe like Three Musketeer boots walking across the floor from right to left, and they disappeared in the wall. I never saw them after that, but somebody said there's someone walking back. Look, I couldn't see it because I was just looking at this light on the wall, thinking, well, where could that be coming from? Because there's no windows there, and it's up on a pillar. So it's on a solid brick wall, and there's nothing opposite because it's a solid wall. So where was the light coming from? What was in that light that sort of caught us unawares, really? And then there was, what else happened in there, Lou? There was a few things, wasn't it? It was a really strange half an hour of things happening, wasn't it? Like, the cat ball didn't go off, did it? We never had a cat ball go.
No, it didn't go off, no.
But then we thought we had a dog in the room because at sort of the waist height, it was cold. Yeah, that was in the other room. But where Jen was sitting on a chair, you had sort of it wasn't warm, it was cold, always cold in the fall. But when you got down, and just in a little sort of area, not much big, like it was cold, beyond cold. But everywhere outside of that was a normal cold temperature. But this was freezing. So we assumed that there would maybe, we don't know, we didn't catch it, an animal come in because Dora had the thermal camera with her group. So, you know, all these bits and pieces were going on, but the strangest thing was this light. Like someone had opened the door and the light was shining through and someone was standing in the doorway looking at us. I don't know where, because we were there for nearly an hour trying to work out what was going on here.
Yeah.
And then we obviously went back to have tea then. And I sort of stayed back and had a look thinking, you know, is there something opposite that would have caused the light? And there's solid pillars and solid walls. There is no windows on that pillar. And the car lights, actually, you saw the light move along the wall and disappear. So you knew that was cars. We checked that When we first got in there, we checked it because we kept seeing this light disappearing along the wall. But right, that's cars because they were coming down the road that was shut, so they were turning round. So you'd get that flicker of lights in the room. So we knew we could debunk that, thinking, "Oh look, the light's moving." No, it's cars. So we got bottom of that. But then this light appeared on this wall, and it did not move. It just stayed there in one point, round about. How high up would you say? How high up would you say it was, Luke? 6 footish up from the ground?
Halfway, I think, yeah.
Yeah, about halfway, yeah. It would have been about halfway up that pillar. And the thick pillars go up and over the top, don't they? Because they go right round the other side. And there's nothing there that could create light, so we don't know what we saw. It's unexplained, put it that way. We tried to debunk it. We thought maybe it's headlights coming through the windows, but there's no cars moving in the... You'd have to be in the courtyard. And once we were locked in. No cars were moving.
No.
So it couldn't have been a car shining light. And you literally saw... I don't know why we didn't take a picture. It's just stunned by what we'd seen. I don't know what it was. I don't know. You know, of all the times we've been, you know, you see things and shadows. I've never seen something appear which looked like a doorway. That it was looking out of a doorway at us. It's the strangest thing, wasn't it, Luke?
Yeah.
Really, I don't know. I don't know what we see. So then we headed back and sort of met Dora back in the tea room. How did you get on in your area, Dora? You were in the prison cells, weren't you?
Yeah, we went first to prison cells. I put all the stuff out I could, cat balls and laser grid. And we had a laser grid kind of dim couple of times. But not much going on in there.
No.
You know, maybe cat ball going off once, and then we walk along the cells. I done the EVPs, and I could hear a couple of knocks and stuff on the EVP. And as I put my phone on for recording, and I listened back next day with the headphones on the like full volume. Soon as I put recording on, I can't kind of work out what it says. It's or says get out, or says get help, something like that.
Oh.
So yeah, we've been in couple of cells, and then we moved down to the last room with the cannon in it.
Yeah.
And we had laser grid there flashing couple of times. And one lady, she said she felt overwhelmed. So she had to go outside. She come back in. And I tried their dowsing rods. They was a bit slow going, but I had answers. But I think guest was getting a bit bored with that. So, you know.
Yeah.
And then from there we head off back for a tea. On the way back, we walk back through the corridor where the cells are. And I said to them, why don't we just stand here? Because I done the recording in that cell and we listened back and we could hear the dragging sound.
All right.
So I said to them, why don't we stand here in the hallway? Just turn on the lights off and we call out here. And I was recording. And I was calling out and I said, can you knock? And not like I knock, and I knock on the wooden door. And later on in the recording, I could hear 3 little knocks.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, if we knew how to bring like EVPs louder on here on live, that would be good. But
yeah.
Without headphones, you won't be able to hear it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then as we went for a tea, to be honest, I was going a bit disappointed, thinking we had little bit, not a lot.
Yeah.
And then as you just, you know, I'm new to having groups.
Yeah.
And
You did brilliantly.
then people start coming in the tea room. Oh, actually, when we walked to that room, I felt like a floor moving,
Oh,
and I'm thinking, yeah, why don't you tell me this?
yeah.
Then
Yeah.
Oh,
then we can work towards that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that man come up to us talking about his EVPs he done and what
Yeah.
he captured. So yeah, it was alright. I think, you know, every event is different.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then obviously we swap the locations. We went to the Canon room.
Yeah.
And you left the sensors in the little room at the
That's
end.
right. Yeah.
And as we went there, I put laser grid out to the direction where we come from. And then we kind of stood at the end and we looking into the room where the sensors are. And we could see the light on the wall. It looked like someone flashing from the hallways where you had the little rooms at the back.
Yeah.
And someone said, this must be someone walking by. I say, there is no one walking past there. I can guarantee you there is no one. Because it looked like someone flashing the torch walking by.
Yeah.
I said, for a start, as you walk further down, the corridor goes around the bend.
yeah.
Yeah.
So light won't go through if someone walk past the doorway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they say, go and have a look. I say, I can go and have a look. And I went right to the end, calling out, is anyone there? And there was no one there. And as we see that light on the wall, you could see the light and you don't see the light. Don't
Yeah.
see the light and we fall like someone passing by the light, like a shadow, or
Yeah.
go halfway to the shadow and coming back. So then I thought, we get the thermal camera out.
Mm.
And one girl said to me, can she try? I say, yeah, go for it. And she say, what I'm looking for. So I explain her. And she's standing there and I keep calling out. I put REM pod out as well. And she went, oh my God. She said, there is a person standing.
Mm.
I said, can I have a look? She went, yeah. So I look, I say, yeah, you won't see like you see us on the thermal.
Yeah.
You just see outline of it because it's lower temperature.
Yeah.
So we had few photos on your thermal camera from there. So that was like quite, people start getting interesting and like,
Yeah.
can I try? Can I have a look? Can I have a go? You know?
There's like
And I'm
35
thinking,
pictures taken.
yeah, yeah. So that was quite good,
Mm.
thermal camera. And obviously we was there about 40 minutes, about an hour, something like that. The times go so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And yeah, then we all went into the room where the sensors are.
Yeah.
So I said to everyone, please, can everyone just stand against the wall and do not move
Mm.
because then sensor will go off.
Yeah.
So we had a sensor going off in there and we had a shadow. One man said he was standing closer to the door. He said he see a shadow like poking in. So yeah, we wasn't long time in that room. We was calling out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we moved down the corridor to the little rooms. And we had in the last room we had a cat pool flashing. And yeah, that's it. Really. We went back to the tea room. And
Yeah.
then we went to the last location altogether.
Which
I've
was
got the catwalk video.
all right.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, please.
Do you used to look after the prisoners, or you've been captured? Have you been captured?
Shall I play it again?
So
Yeah. Which room was that in, Dora?
that's it's
Do you
in.
used to look after the prisoners, or you've been captured?
That was
Have you
in
been
where
captured?
in canon room,
All right. Yeah.
to the room where you had all sensors set out.
Yeah.
So I put the. You gave me yes and no, and I put cat balls on top
Oh,
of that.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was cat bull with yes on.
Oh, wow.
Ah,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're like a glow in the dark yes and no, aren't they?
yeah,
I think.
yeah. I put on the doorstep, and it went off.
Oh, wow.
hmm.
And yet
So yeah,
we were in there and didn't get any cat balls go off at all, did we?
No.
No, I don't think we did we, Luke?
No, we didn't know.
No. How strange, isn't it? But you saw the same light that we saw then.
yeah, probably. But which wall did you see that light on?
It was on the right hand wall, wasn't it? Right hand side?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah, on the right hand side as we're
Yeah.
looking to the entrance, the room is behind us. We're looking towards the entrance, although you can't see it because it's round the corner. But it was on the right hand, probably about the second cannon in, but on the pillar. On the right hand side as we're looking down.
No. We will see that light in where the sensors are.
Oh, did you?
In that room, on the wall on the left, opposite the corridor, and that's why they said there's someone walking with the torch. And I
wow.
went check. I say no, there is no one, and it was like a weird shape. It looked like light coming from the window, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was no light to go through any
There's
window.
no window in there.
There is no
either.
window in there.
No. And that's what I
So
thought was like someone had opened the door and you're seeing the light behind them. Is what I thought we saw up on the pillar. Was like somebody had opened the door and the light was shining through and they
Yeah.
were standing in the doorway looking out. So I was
So
surprised you saw it in a different place.
different place. Well, I thought you saw in the same place.
No.
No, so it was like someone walking past it and it was disappearing and appearing again.
Oh wow. No, ours was in
So yeah,
the cannon room, like as you come down the steep steps into the what they call the artillery room, the cannon
Yeah.
room. If you go sort of 1, 2, I think it's about 2 cannons in when it Luke, somewhere around that area.
yeah, it was. Yeah,
And it was about there that we saw the light up on the pillar and what looked like someone looking out of a light. Because it not only did we see it, I didn't say anything at first, and then everybody started to see it. Everybody's going, "What? And what is that down there? What is that on the wall?" And then sort of turn your torch on and have a look. There's nothing down there.
Mm.
Thinking, well, that's weird. And then it literally was like it was doing that. Looking.
One weird thing I found. You've got the same torch as me, Paul, innit?
Yes. Yeah.
Mine was fully charged, 100% charged. And when I got to the first location, to the cells, and I put just light on to come from the base room to the other side, to the location, to the first room on the right hand side, was 44% left.
Oh. Yeah, that's
And
right.
I
You
think-
said to me about charging it, didn't you?
Yeah, I charged it up later on of your charger
pack.
bank.
Yeah. It went
And I
flat that
thought
quick.
that's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was it started off quite quiet really, and we had them sort of bits go
Yeah.
on, so it was quiet. We're openly and honest, it was a quiet night. It wasn't as active as it was before, but then we're not sure, people were nervous and people carried their nerves into something. We had quite a few people that had never done it before, so they were quite nervous about what was going to happen. And it's again, like you say, what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
that type of thing. And if you can't put the energy in to sort of get it going, it's difficult for the host, whether it be myself, Dora, Angela, or whoever, to keep the energy up, because you need people to help with you, because the combined energy gives enough energy, spirit energy, to do whatever. And is if one of you that's doing it, you're trying your hardest, but spirit are draining you of the energy to keep calling out. So you need
Yeah.
people to interact just to give you a hand and build the energy up. How did you get on, Luke? What did you think of it down there?
No, we in one of the M rooms we tried the SLS camera, and I had
That's right.
felt like a sort of dog or like an animal going around my legs, and it was on the
Oh,
camera.
that's right.
Yeah,
That was down the Taylor's room, wasn't it? That right down the very end.
yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah. Because we thought we'd try the SLS camera out and see if we'd get better luck with that. Because we were getting knocks and taps, but nothing. You know, you'd want more. You'd want to be greedy and get more. But I don't think it was going to give us any more than what it gave us. I mean, we had the incident with the light on the wall and the boots, and I think Luke said saw someone walking from right to left and then back left to right again.
yeah.
And then we went over to the barracks room across the other side of the forecourt, which is one of the rooms that they've renovated. We had another group there, paranormal group, that were sort of wandering around, who we know very well. So we knew that they were quite safe. And they had some interesting interactions with things. Because as I was speaking to them at the night before they went, they said it was a quiet night, but what they got was really interesting. So I'll try and see if I can get them to let us have a listen or a view. They had the camera on and all that, so hopefully we can get them to lend us the EVPs or the camera footage, and we can show you. But they wandered around, so we went over to the barracks room on the opposite side, which was just not long. I think it was just opened when we first went in Halloween time. When we first went, again we stood in there a little bit quiet, but then we had cat balls going off.
Yeah.
So we had one on the table, one on the floor, and they were going off at different times, obviously. So that was interesting, because I think last time we were there, we didn't feel much in that room, to be honest. But this time, I think Dora used the thermal camera in there. Did you use the thermal camera in there, Dora?
Yeah, I did have a look around.
Did you see anything in there, or?
Not really, but I also done EVP, and as you calling out, I can hear on it clear footsteps, like walking around.
All right. There was definitely something in there, because the cat balls were
Yeah.
going off, weren't they?
Yeah.
So the cat balls were going off because they both, one was on the floor, one was on the table. It was a different area, so it's not as though you could have said the table was moving, because we tried to sort of bounce on the floor to see if we could get the ball on the table to go, but it wouldn't go. So when it went off, and then the one on the floor went off, and nobody was moving, everybody was stationary there. So, you know, it's a visual bit of evidence. I don't think it was anybody moving. Everybody seemed to be quite stationary, quite still at that time, because that was obviously getting on to about, I don't know, 20 to 1 by that time. Like Dora said, the time was just flying past, really.
Yeah.
You know, before you realise, I would stop for tea, sort of 10, 15 minutes while people have a smoke and a cup of tea and a biscuit, and then you're off again, and then next thing you know, it's midnight, then it's 12:15, and you know, then we gathered everybody out about 12 o'clock and said, where would you all like to go to? You know, there's one room we haven't done, which was the barrack room. You know, where does everybody want to go, would like to go back to, in case somebody had a favourite place or they were getting something in another room. But no one really sort of said, I'd like to go back here, like to go back there. So we said to you, would you like to go to one of the rooms that you've not seen? So we headed across the courtyard and back to the barrack room there, and then spent 20 minutes, half an hour in there, probably less than that, really.
Yeah.
The time was ripping, going very quickly. I think because we were so busy, it was just flying by, and having the interaction and talking to people that, everybody enjoyed it, but everybody had a different thing about it, They said, "Oh, I enjoyed listening to the noise. I enjoyed the silence. I enjoyed just being in the fort at night. I enjoyed what was going on. There was few bits, but not a great deal. I really enjoyed some people were saying I really enjoyed the view from the top, showing us how the fort would have looked during that time. A lot of ghost hunts, you're just thrown into the room and off you go. We actually just give them a walk around the top so they could actually see how vast this fort is and how much it would have been ready to go during the First and Second World War. So that sort of gave them a little bit of an insight as the English heritage guy was telling us a bit about the ramparts and all that sort of bit. So it added a little bit to the ghost hunt for them. So they had a little bit of knowledge of the fort before they went on the ghost hunt. So sometimes people like to know about it, the history of it, or they may have even Googled it before they went. Who knows? But we thought that would be different for people just to have a view from it before we go into the darkness. Because once you're in darkness, we wasn't allowed up there in the dark anyway. So because of health and safety. So to go up in the daylight, give them a bird's eye view, because when you're up the top, you can actually see the Spinnaker Tower and all of that from the fort. So you get quite a understanding how high up that fort is.
You
above.
can see the Fort Whitley lights as well.
Yeah.
From there.
That's how high up you were. So it's a strategic viewpoint as well as a fort, as one of the Palmerston forts across Hampshire. So I thought it was a good idea just to get them to have a look, like me and Dora discussed doing that, to give them an idea to see what the fort would have looked like from above, because you don't often get allowed to go up there. It was just sort of semi-dark really.
Yeah.
But you could see, as you saw from the pictures, you could actually see around the fort. So give them an idea how big and how many troops would have been stationed there. Anywhere between 10 and 15 to a room, apparently, there would have been. So I forget how many rooms there are. There's loads. So each bunk room would have had 10, 15 guys in it, if not more, coming up to D-Day and whatever. They would have had more of them in there. And, of course, the married quarters were in there as well. And all they would have had was a sheet to divide them from the main room, which is not obviously very private, but that was all they would have got. And then the officers had the big mess room in the middle. So, yeah, it started off a quiet night, but that's how a paranormal investigation goes, doesn't it? We all know that. Some nights you can get massive amounts of activity. Some nights you get very minimal. That's just how it is. It's not a game show. It's not a supply and demand. I think sometimes people have not done it before and they're very nervous. So the energy is a little bit harder to get them to interact with you, because they're very nervous. I think some people go on a ghost hunt expecting an apparition to run out on them, or stones being thrown, and, all sorts of things they see on the TV. But as investigators and everybody watching this knows that that's not how it happens, how it works. But we did. The light on the wall and the soldier or whatever it was walking across the fort that Luke saw. Did you actually see a shadow of someone, Luke, or did you just see something moving?
I think it was like a pair of legs walking back and forwards.
Right.
Half the legs, yeah.
Yeah, that's what sort of threw me at first when I first saw it, because all I saw at first was the boots, what looked like brown boots, and I'm thinking, and I didn't say anything, and I looked and I thought, if you see something, you've seen it, haven't you? You shouldn't doubt what you see. And I stood there, didn't say anything, and it's not till somebody else went, someone's walking down there, look. And I think Jen and Ned saw it, and then another couple of guests saw it, and then Luke said, "Oh, there's someone walking down there."
Yeah.
So we couldn't actually place what we were seeing, because obviously at that time it was beyond dark. It was dark as dark. But all in all, that was quite a highlight. If you went for one night and just had that'd be quite a highlight, really. So, any comments that anybody watching? What's everybody's favourite place? Angela, what would be your favourite place?
I think probably Wimmering Manor is my favourite place. Yeah, I've been there quite a few times, and it's sort of different every time. And sometimes it feels really scary, even just to go in. Other times, I think, no problem, nothing's
Yeah,
here. So it's always sort of full of surprises. Really, I like that place.
yeah, that's quite a place, isn't it? That place. That's where I got a picture of a woman standing in the garden
Oh yeah.
by the roof, by the brick wall. Dora, what would be your favourite place?
Probably gym. Sometimes I like go there, sometimes I don't.
On your the gym you clean.
Yeah.
You do get scared there, don't you?
Oh yeah. Proper.
The one that intrigued me is when you said you washed the floor in the toilets and then you came back and there was a footprint on the floor. But you're the only one there, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm locked in.
I don't know how you do that.
Sometimes I run out of it.
It's quite a place, isn't it? And do
Yeah.
you hear much there, Dora, or is it just clanking?
All,
What do you actually,
all the time.
what, just noises or voices?
No voices. I had few weeks back. I had woman and man conversation, clear as day. I was cleaning the toilets and I had door close to the toilet, and I was cleaning the floor, and I was cleaning with the brush, so it was a bit loud. And I left my phone out to do record if I catch anything.
Mhm.
And I brushing the floor and I'm thinking, someone walk in. Someone come into the gym, and I'm thinking, no one can come in because I locked the door and I left the key in the door.
Yeah.
So I come out and I was like, hello, is anyone here? And I took my phone, and I never listen any records there because I don't want to get myself freaked out. And I went back home, and you can hear it, man and woman voice having a conversation.
Wow.
2 weeks ago, again, it's always when I'm in the bathroom. It happens at the gym. And when you come out of it, you hear something, you come out of it, it goes that quiet. And it's like about 2 weeks ago, I was cleaning the bathroom and I could hear like a horse, like going on the pavement, the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking, what the hell is that? It's like a horse riding. And I come out of the bathroom quietly and slowly in case I see something. And I'm standing in the hallway and still carry on. Yeah. And then it stopped.
And you obviously didn't see anything.
No. I went to, usually it's the bigger part of the gym.
Yeah.
Always something there.
Amazing, isn't it? And you go there mainly on your own as well, did you?
Yeah.
You're brave, very brave.
Yeah. I went for a cleaning with my friend not long ago. She's supposed to just be like as a company. So I was cleaning the bathroom. She just had a wander around because she's interested in paranormal. And I'm walking out of the bathroom to check on her, and there she comes. I heard this. I say, what did you hear? She went, I heard what you told me, slapping on the boxing bag twice. I heard that.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
sometimes you're telling people and they thinking, yeah, right.
But you know what you experienced, don't you?
Yeah.
Graham, one of our viewers, has put Guides Cliff House. I've never been to that one myself, so I've heard it's very good. I'm not quite sure. I haven't been there myself. I'll have to put that on the bucket list. Luke, where would be your favourite investigation have been?
I like Shepton Mallet Prison.
Oh, dear. And why do you like it there?
Oh, you always seem to get something there, and there's always like a creepy feeling.
Right. How many times have you been there?
About maybe 4 or 5, maybe.
Have you?
I think so, yeah.
With the same group or a different group?
It was with different groups all the time, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your best evidence there then?
Then when I went with Darren once, we had like someone saying hello to us.
Oh,
So
right.
like an Irish accent.
Oh, well.
So it's on YouTube, on Darren's YouTube, I think, still.
All right. So
South
have a look
Coast.
at that. Yeah. On South Coast Ghost, is it?
Yeah, the YouTube
On the
channel, yeah.
YouTube. So go on and have a look at that and see if you can hear what Luke and Darren heard that night. I think mine, what would be mine? The Lamb Inn, I think, where Jen saw her very first apparition. Because every time we went out, she would say, I never see anything. It must be something to do with me. Nothing ever happens. And this night it happened. It happened. I don't know. It was all chaos in the room when it happened. It was like we were all in the room upstairs. So to your right of you were stairs that went down to the bottom, and there was a door down there. And I think a couple of times, a few groups, and I think Darren saw it, someone looking up the stairs and then walking off. But there was nobody there. Everybody was in different places. So, Darren's seen that a couple of times, which was interesting. So we were up there, myself, Jen, and a few others. So we're sitting there calling out, and we're doing a bit of table tipping. And the table was really going well, really, really rocking backwards and forwards. Was you up there, Dora, at that time?
Yeah. I
The
never
table-
jumped so quick on someone's laps than when I died on Jenny's.
I'll never forget that. It was so funny.
What was that?
The Lamb.
Oh, yeah.
The table was rocking like mad. It was really going, wasn't it? And then suddenly it just stopped dead. And we're like, and the silence came. When you think, oh my God, what's going on? By this time, I'd retreated into the bathroom because I wanted to try and do an EVP from the bathroom. So I'm looking out through a small door, and Jen, Dora, and a few others were sitting on the bed to the right. And I'm looking at the mirror, and then I heard Jenny say, "Are you standing up in the bathroom?" And I went, "No." And then all hell broke loose.
I said, no, look in the mirror.
Look in the mirror. And sure enough, there was an apparition in the mirror.
The
By
cat
the time
will lit off, innit?
Huh?
The cat
cat
will
will.
under the mirror lit off, and then how we saw her with
Yeah.
that little light. Oh my God, that was.
I've never seen anything
mental.
like it. So I've never seen people running around the room, crashing, diving over beds. It was like a bomb had gone off. And I went to get up to go into the room, and I felt something on my hands on my shoulders, pushing me back down on the floor again. I thought, whoa, get off. And you had to duck to get under the door. So me and this woman were like fighting to get through this little door. And it's all chaos in the main room. They were all over one side of the room. The bed was there, the table was over on its side, and it was just so funny. And Jen, all the time, Jen gets on, it must be me. Nothing ever happens when I'm come on an investigation and blah. All of them sorts of things. I probably won't go anymore because it stops it. And then that night, it all hell broke loose in that room, didn't it, Jen?
Yeah.
It was brilliant, brilliant place. I really, really enjoyed that investigation. It was well worth it. Shepton Mullet.
Really on my lap.
Dora was sitting on Jen's lap in the end. I think there was a couple of other women died behind the bed, right on the far side. It's me and this woman fighting to get out of the bathroom.
They got in their ear.
A breath in their ears, so that made it even worse. Seeing this apparition, and then the cat ball, and then the breath, and yeah, it was a great night. I was. Christine's put Shipton Mullet is my favourite place. I was there Friday. So much activity. How was it, Christine? You'll have to come on one night. Tell us about it. And Graham's put, I recorded a man singing at Shepton Mallet in the courtyard, the song going to the chapel, and we just left there. Oh, wow. Interesting. So like Luke said, is that your favourite place then, Luke?
Yeah, I love it there, yeah.
It is a good
I
place,
think-
isn't it?
I think Arundel jailhouse was good as well.
Yes.
That
You
was
ever
my
played-
second investigation.
How was it?
Yeah, first one. Yeah, second one. Yeah.
You know, probably my second best one would be the old police station at Petersfield.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good,
that
yeah.
was good as well.
That was really good. Did you go to that one, Angela?
I made it part way through because Darren was in hospital, so I
Oh,
did
that's
make it
right.
there.
Because that's where I took a picture in the display cabinet and saw a woman's head behind.
That's right.
And we thought it was Lynn.
And then we
Yeah.
realised it wasn't.
And then we thought, well, no, Lynn's not that tall.
Yeah,
And we couldn't work out what. But there was no corridor behind. It was just like a woman's head with her hair really pulled back. I thought, it can't be Lynn because Lynn's not that tall. You know, it's really quite someone tall. So that was a really good. I quite enjoyed that. And the best part of that was when you came out, it was solid mist outside,
Oh,
like a horror film, wasn't it? When you walk out,
yeah.
it's solid fog, wasn't it? You remember that? We're like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is creepy. Yeah, added to the tension of it all, really, didn't it? So I think that would be my second best one. I really enjoyed that one.
Because there was lots of places to sit down.
Yeah, Jen was sitting in the reception, selling things and seeing people in and out, weren't you? Like a police officer. What can we do for you tonight? So that was pretty good. What would be yours, Luke? What would be your second best investigation?
I like going to Waverley Abbey quite a lot as well, yeah.
Waverley, yeah.
There's good memories there is.
Yeah, we haven't been there for a while, have we now? It's a good place.
Yeah.
Good place.
Oh, very
Dora,
good
what would
time.
be your second best one?
Let me think quickly. Mary's Woodhouse was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mariswood, yeah. That was different, wasn't it? When me, you, and we were looking at Angela from across the fin,
Mhm.
and that wasn't Angela, was it? Standing there,
No.
I don't know who that was, but that certainly wasn't Angela. And that's why we shouted over, didn't we? You all right? You went, yeah. Like, and then we were standing on the other side, and Dora was on. If you can imagine, it's like a square house, so you can look opposite the corridor because it had windows on all four sides. And that's when Dora was over one side and we were over the other. Myself, Angela, I think Luke was there, Lynn, and a few others. And we said, "Can you touch Dora? Can you touch her arm?" And see Dora sort of like looking in the corridor, thinking, "What was that?" And that
You've
was
got
really
doors
good evidence.
between the corridors as well, so we
Yeah.
couldn't hear each other.
We couldn't hear what you're saying, and we just kept saying, "Oh," so you looking around. So it was happening, and I think Amy had a couple of things happen there, didn't she, Angela? She saw something, or
yeah, she saw something down a corridor as well.
because I think that's where we had the Lego tour appear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
What did Amy see, Angela?
I can't quite remember because she went off on her own for a little bit just down a corridor, and then I was looking at her through a door, and then she spotted me, and she's like, just sort of see someone like go round the corner or look round the corner or something like that.
Oh wow,
She seemed quite good at it.
that was quite a place, wasn't it? Really, that night we were there. Because I think that was the night Lynn had the stick thrown at her, didn't she? Or the stone or whatever it was
Yeah.
in the garden.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that the outside there it's more freaky than inside the house, really.
in the gardens it is, isn't it? You're sort of standing by that tree, you know, and I had done that place about 10 years before. We were the last group to go in there 10 years before it stopped, sort of thing. And the garden was always creepy then. And I knew then what had happened in the garden, but didn't tell anybody. But we experienced various things in that garden that unexplainable, really, with the stone being thrown at Lynn. You know, Amy seeing what we could only see was someone or a shadow. And I think that's where we were standing in the corridor and we looked like Julia had walked past the end of the corridor, wasn't it? I think that was then, and we couldn't work out when we looked, she was up in a different place downstairs, I think. They don't quite know what we saw go past the door. But it was a very strange place, Maryswood. It was, do you know, it's funny to say this, but as soon as I walked back in there after 10 years, I felt like I'd come home. I had such a secure feeling walking in there. I don't know I don't know how to explain it, but as soon as we walked in, it was like everybody was like, "Oh, you're back again." That type of welcome. But it was a good venue, that one. You know, steeped in history. It gave as good as it could. You know, I think there would have been more there. Slightly different groups. You know, sometimes you get more with some groups than others. But when we were there, we had some good stuff go on in the corridors, and what looked like Angela's face had changed in the corridor, and Dora being touched. And
I definitely would not wander there on my own.
Yeah.
No way.
I'll tell you who's the bravest, Angela, because she went looking for a camera.
Yeah, and then I didn't.
So she wandered around.
How do I get out of it? Where am I?
Wandering around on your own in the dark looking for your camera. That's funny.
Oh, a good one. Merley House, wasn't it?
Merley House.
Yeah.
In Wimborne. Yeah, I think, Dora, you came late to that one, didn't you?
Yeah, because sometimes I just sit on the sofa, watch telly, and thinking, I'm going. Last minute call.
Just like that.
Yeah.
All the way to Wimborne.
Yeah.
How funny. Yeah, that was very good. Merley House. That really interesting place, wasn't it?
Yeah, that person, I thought you'd walk behind me.
Yeah.
And you looked where I was looking, and I said, "What did you just see?" And you said, "I thought someone walked out." I said, "Yes, so did I." But no one had.
No one had left the room. It looked like someone, you know, I think, you know, where are they going to? And sort of looked, and Jim was looking that way, and I said, what are you looking at? And I thought I'd just see someone walk out. And I went out into the room, there was nobody there, but we both saw what looked like someone leaving the room.
Yeah.
Quite what we saw, I don't know.
And then you've got that thing about the lady going
over the banister, yeah. When we went upstairs, I think it was myself, Gemma, a couple of others, Cheryl, I think was up there. And you got up they were beautiful house, absolutely fantastic house, stunning house. And you got the sort of the wooden staircase in the middle, and it was beautiful. And for some reason, I think Luke was there. Were you there, Luke?
Yeah.
You remember we got to the top of the stairs and couldn't go any further?
Yeah, sorry, I think I heard like a knock I heard a knock in my house and there's no one there.
What, just a minute ago?
Yeah, on the door, yeah.
We'll go and let them in. They might want to join the conversation.
I know.
Send your mum out, Luke. That gives you a chance to run if something's there.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Women first.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sticking
the reason for it.
That's what I'm sticking to. Women first. We'll follow. Yeah, so we got to the top of the stairs, and like we were looking around the house, and it was just like you hit a wall. You just couldn't seem to push past the top of the stairs. And I was standing there thinking, what's going on here? Why can't we sort of go any further? And as I was standing there, I saw a man come out of the room obviously, and waving his finger at a girl, like an argument in my head. I could see it, and then she disappeared over the banister. She tripped and gone over the banister and laid on the floor. So I'm looking over the banister thinking, well, nobody's gone over there. So I went down and found the lady that, like a tour guide, and asked her, and she said, how did you know that? I said, did she go over and she was laying in the box in the chair? Nobody knew that. She'd had an argument with her father, tripped and went over the top of the banisters and sadly died at the bottom of the banisters. So that was an interesting place, but a great location, beautiful house, stunning house, literally.
Yeah.
Their whole weddings and that there.
Yeah.
Graham's put, and skeptics say there's nothing paranormal, they don't know anything. Yeah, I mean, whether it's paranormal or it's unexplained, you know, you go into that phenomena, don't you? It's like what we saw at the Fort. Whether that's classed as paranormal, but it was definitely unexplained because it could not find what that was, where it come from. I just don't know. And Dora's seeing the same thing in a different room, so it can't be a car. It can't be a fluke.
Just come to my head. When we went to the toilets, which are on the other side of the fort, I went in, and your friend's wife, she was standing outside,
Oh yeah,
but I didn't knew she was there because you walk in the toilet and you've got 2 rooms to go for a toilet, and outside of them was sink to wash your hands. And that was all like a little corridor, and then you come out to the main corridor to walk out. And as I'm using the toilet, I could hear someone coming in and going, using the, toilet and walking around. So I thought someone come in. So I come out, wash my hands, and I went, and your friend's wife standing there, and I said, did you just walk in? She went, no. I said, is anyone come out? She went, no. I said, there was someone in that toilet.
oh wow.
100%. And then I come out, and the lady sat on the table with English Heritage,
Yeah.
and I asked her,
Yeah.
you remember I was talking to her?
Yes. Yeah, you said, didn't
I say,
you?
is anyone come here before us and for a toilet? She went, no. I said, there was someone in that toilet walking around.
That's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she said, didn't she, that nobody had gone in and nobody had come after.
No.
It was only us.
Yeah.
So
Something
strange.
about you and toilets there, Dora, isn't there?
Door and
Yeah.
toilets. All happens in a toilet.
Come with me on the haunted tour around the toilet.
How funny. Dora's haunted toilets.
Oh, my God.
You could do a road show testing everybody's
Yeah.
toilet.
Yeah.
How funny. Any other comments, Angela, tonight?
One more.
Oh, yeah. A film for you, Luke, called Mandy the Haunted Doll. If you haven't seen it, quite creepy, was on YouTube. There you go. Thanks, Graham.
Watch it,
There you
thank you.
go,
I watched
Luke.
it. Yeah, thanks.
Have you
yeah.
watched it?
No, I've
Have
heard
you?
of it. No. No.
There you go. It's a haunted. That's not going to make your dolls come alive, is it? A haunted doll film.
We can try.
Yeah.
Do
And
it.
if they're
do
all
it.
standing at your bed looking over the end of it in the morning,
Oh, my God.
you know the film worked.
With glowing eyes.
Red, glowing eyes and their little hands hanging on there, looking at you.
Oh, my God, no.
What you have to do then, Luke, is get your mum in there first. Let her go
Run.
in first.
Yeah.
Tell your mum to go in your bedroom. You're just going to go to the kitchen
Yeah.
and then leg it out the door.
Yeah.
Let your mum take them on. Anyway, that's it for tonight. If you'd like to come on, promote your group, come and talk to us, have a chat, you see it's easy. And I'd say we had Neil Packer last week from Haunted Antiques Shop and the Parachat coming up in August that we've been invited to do a talk on our experiences. So come along and see us. That's in Canterbury. We'll be there doing our talk. If you want to come on here, promote your group, tell us about your paranormal investigations and your go-to equipment and all of your stuff that you've encountered and experienced, we'd love to have you on here. So contact myself, Paul on Host for Ghosts, or Angela on South Coast Ghosts, and we'll get you on here. So I think next week we may have another group coming on next week. We're not sure. Angela's going to try and use her charm and get them on. So we have them on for next week. Save me talking all night. So we're going to try and get them on. So if you do want to come on, please get in contact. As I say, on Host for Ghosts or South Coast Ghosts. Our new website is up and running. So it's hostforghostparanormal.co.uk. So that's the new one. We have Netley Abbey coming up on the 16th of May, which is a short one. We think we're just waiting for confirmation on times. We think that one's going to be around about 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish to 11 at £20. As I say, we're a non-profitable group, so it all goes back to the English heritage. That will help keep Netley Abbey awake and keep it strong. And we're trying to earn. We've earned a good bit of money in the last few investigations for the English heritage, which we're very proud of. We reckon loosely around about £1,100 in 2 events. So we're really pleased to have raised that money for them and feel very honoured to give them back to the charity and them looking after us. So we're well pleased with that. And thank you everybody for Saturday night. As I say, it was a sellout. We could have sold more tickets, but obviously, you have to keep the groups to a minimum and get the good energy. So thank you, Luke, for coming Saturday night, and Lynn and Amy, wheels spinning in the car park like a boy racer. I like to go and clear all the gravel up. Yeah.
They weren't too happy about it.
No, they weren't chuffed about it at all, but I got to go and clear the gravel up. So anyway, so that's enough from us tonight. So thank you for tuning in, and say if you want to get in touch, you want to come on the show, come on, talk to us about your group, your paranormal group, your investigations, or you want to promote your group, you're more than welcome to come on and chat to us. Say we're a friendly group. We have it. We like a laugh and a bit of a joke. So it's good to have good people on. So we wish you a very safe week this week. So be careful out there, and any investigations you're on, enjoy. And we'll see you again next Monday. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.